signed a record deal last week, 2 weeks ago?
While
ago, maybe.
Well, to be fair, it's been like on the cards for a while, but we were down in London 3 weeks ago and it got announced 2 weeks ago. So.
What does a Gallus debut record have to do to be successful?
Not be shite.
Sell millions.
Never written a record before.
We don't know, to be honest. I think folk like the fact that we are sort of just like a sort of state of natural fun. So to somehow implement that in a cohesive sound for about 10 to 12 songs, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we'll find a way.
So do you see Perfect Ending as kind of capping off that kind of pre-album?
I think it's more of a start.
Nah,
I songs, at least we had no notion of we were going to be doing an album, so who knows?
But I like the way that you've seen it, so yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting one as well, because although you've kind of still got those razor sharp guitars and the kind of sounds that we know you for, it does feel a bit melodically brighter than the stuff you've put out previously.
Oh, thank you.
Does that kind of feel like an indication of where it maybe could be going in towards that direction?
Well, it just depends on what's going to get done, to be honest. Like, naturally, that's what we've been doing and what we thought, like, what we're more comfortable with going into record and write. So it probably will be, but again, fuck knows.
That was written at the same time as us.
You got a mic?
Yes, I do.
That was written. Where is it? That was written at the same time as other songs that are going to be on the album, so they will. I think probably a slight indication of where some of them will be, but I think it's going to be quite a mixed bag.
All we take out.
I'll just be kidding you.
Ah, Jesus.
Who pushes you most creatively that's not a member of the band?
I've got to make my voice yes to Pog's mic anyway, right? Do you know what? Kind of is a sort of like, at some point, Eamon's like the sort of person that pushes things forward, main driving force. And we just kind of getting about it and getting the job done. To be fair, like it's flabbergasted me that we've not fallen out massively from it, but
Oh, we have. We have.
We've fallen out, but not massively. That's the. Aye.
We came to blows.
Yeah, but we know what we want, and like we're all in it for the same thing at the end of the day, man. And we've took this massive step up from like obviously the record deal and stuff, and we have to like it will get to us at some points, but I think we're in an understanding of we all need.
We need the fucking money.
That's what we fucking need.
We just need all that fucking dough.
We need the fucking money. But we just want to fucking be the best it can be. So if that ends in fucking some tiffs here and there, who cares at the end of the day?
Gotta break a few eggs.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Crack
Exactly.
a few heads.
How big a role would you say music plays in your identity now compared to 3 years ago you started the band?
4.
In COVID years, we'll call it 3 though.
Yeah, how big a role does music play in your identity now compared to then?
I never listen to music anymore. I hate it. Just we go into the studio, play music, and I'm sick of it when I get home. I go home and I just sit in silence.
I just really like a good podcast now.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I came into me personally, I came into this sort of like I done acting at college, that's all like I think I've said this in interviews with yourself before. But music has now become so much more like in it now that I have a sort of baseline understanding of writing the thing, do you know what I mean? Like so it's just it's not the fact that it's there in a bigger sense of where it was 3 years ago. I think it's just going to keep on building for all of us, like how much it has a part in our lives.
Well, it's funny that you said as well, it's funny you kind of mentioned their COVID years and the idea that year doesn't quite count. How has that year changed your writing process when you've not been able to play live? Has that impacted the way you actually construct the songs in any way when that element is removed?
We've been doing more writing in our bedroom using our laptops. There's affected it a bit, but the general process of have an idea, bring it into the studio, flesh it out, it's still there.
There's a lot more demos. A lot more demos.
Much better demo.
Because we used to just like jam with something in the studio and then like film it on our like phone. so we have a recording of it.
There was
whereas
also-
now it's much more streamlined. You know what I mean?
There was also a sort of benefit of it. I've said this a few times. It was like, do you know how bands like have two or three albums and they completely change up their sound? We were doing that with 2 or 3 songs, like just changing up every time, and it was actually a good time for us to sit down and be like, what's going on, man? What are we actually going to do? And now we've got someone who's like signed us, and they need like, you need a cohesive sound for these sort of things, but we came prepared because we're now sort of in an awareness of what we're wanting to do and what we think like will benefit us as artists.
And what will sell.
You say that, but the album is probably, we're going to say this, we're going to say we're going to get a good cohesive sound, and then we'll write a folk tune just for a laugh.
Yeah, that's never going to leave us, but we're going to try. We're going to fucking try.
What's an important life lesson you've learned from being in Gallus over the last?
Trust no one.
Get everyone else that isn't in Gallus to fuck. No, I'm kidding.
Rob your pals because they'll rob you themselves. So you need to just be like, watch out for yourself. Don't care about anyone else. Fuck everyone.
Be ruthless.
I mean,
The safe is
of
remorseless.
how our shows go, like we always kind of just like let it all loose, and like we always kind of like jump about and stuff. And I think that's like fun to do because you do sort of release things from you, and like you have that drive to get that release again when you play shows. So like I don't know, man. Like every time we do shows, there's this sort of release that comes in because we've all been just like letting everything out, and if we go into a show, we always just let it have it and give it 100%. So
You forgot the question.
no, but yeah, I know, I get it. But you chase to do that again. So what we've learned is like there's something that we really like about doing these shows, and we want to keep on doing.
Stop
them.
rambling.
I know.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
No worries.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You and you. Thank you.